Welcome to Partnerships for Profit, the podcast where we bring you inside the world of joint ventures, strategic partnerships, and powerful collaborations. Whether you're looking to expand your network, find new referral partners, or scale your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started.
Hello all, and welcome to Partnerships for Profit. Today I am joined by Ryan McKeen. Ryan, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Aaron.
Of course, we're so happy to have you. So kind of first and foremost, leading into our interview, I would love to hear from your perspective. If you were describing what you do in a day-to-day to somebody off the street, how would you describe it?
Yeah, really what I do at this point is really help build the future of law one dream at a time. And so what I mean by that is, first of all, I'm a practicing lawyer. I have a small law firm, a McKeen law firm, where I handle personal injury cases on a referral basis only. I've been a lawyer for 20 years. I have a $100 million jury verdict. And but I spend most of my time at this point as a consultant at Era LLC, helping law firms from all over the world get better. And I teach at University of Connecticut School of Law as an adjunct professor in legal entrepreneurship. So I really, aside from being the lawyer part, I really spend a lot of time with firms and lawyers and law firm owners, helping them have better lives, better serve their clients, and improve their practices.
That's so wonderful. What made you feel like that was your calling? Was there, there's so many directions that you can go to when it comes to law. What specifically drew you to the field of consulting?
Yeah, this to me was full circle because I went to college. I went to the Framingham State College, now Framingham State University, which is the first teachers college in the country. And I was actually a Krista McAuliffe scholar. And my goal was to become a history teacher. And along the way, what happened was I developed an interest in law, decided to go to law school, decided to become a lawyer, ultimately decided to own a law firm and pursue entrepreneurial activity in the practice of law. And so that sort of took up the first, I would say, 20 years of my career. And really, I had the opportunity, I had the good fortune to ask myself, like, what do I want to do with the next decade? And it felt like I was called to teach. And so I have the opportunity I view my consulting business as really private teaching, where either I'm teaching groups of lawyers or I'm tutoring. I get to have the opportunity to teach law students, which I love. And it just felt like a natural extension of like my life had built to this point, and it had come full circle.
Absolutely. That's wonderful. To go to the first teachers college, to go in with this intention of being a history teacher and to come out the other side being able to aid people and guide people with this very important knowledge, a lot of times using terminology that's so out of so far removed from a lot of people's day to day, and making that information accessible for people. Do you feel like there's a lot of overlap in your time teaching and your time in consulting? What does that look 100%. Like? What are those?
Well, 100%, because, look, in teaching, all I'm trying to do is get them to understand concepts and understand, things like cash flow and finance in a law firm and how that all works, right? And in consulting, I'm trying to help them build maybe the best system for finance in their firm, but I'm also I have to teach them the why. I have to show them, this is why you want to do what you do, help you understand it so I can get that buy-in. Because I can say, look, this is the best tech stack for you, but if they don't understand it and they don't learn about it and they don't accept it, then I might as well be talking to a wall. So I have to balance hats, and the same is really true as a lawyer too, where a client comes to you with a problem and you've got to listen and you've got to chart a course of action, but you also have to educate them as to why that's the best course of action. And ultimately, you may have to educate a judge or a jury as to why your position is right. So I feel like the consulting aspect is sort of right in between teaching and practicing law.
Yeah, so they all interact together in this way. That's wonderful. Do you feel like you're really able to break down your time as a teacher allows you to be able to break down complex topics and make them understandable for the people that you work with?
Yeah, I think that maybe like that some people were put on this earth to maybe hit a baseball 450 feet, right? That I am not one of those people. But maybe my skill set is being able to take complicated concepts or complicated ideas and really distill them and make them understandable to clients or law students or, you know, law firm owners as I'm doing consulting. So I think I'm good at that. I think I don't overthink things. I often think in metaphors or analogies, like that's a default for me, and I think that that helps them understand. Like I gave you one. Like some people are put on the earth to hit a baseball 400 feet. But so I think I have that gear, and it's you know, again, I'm blessed with many different things, but that may be my gift.
I definitely feel it in the opportunity to get to sit here talking with you. I come from a whole family of educators, and I think that an additional aspect to that is this feeling like being easy to talk to, and that you're not going to like judge somebody for coming in with ignorance. You actually welcome those questions and want people to be able to understand. So I think that's wonderful.
It is wonderful, and bless your family. Teacher, you know, really, teachers they do touch the future, and so much respect and admiration for all the teachers in my life, and gratitude.
Absolutely. I would love to hear. I often hear so many people when they have sort of that calling or that pull in that way, whatever kind of that the education of people looks like, whether that be in law and consulting or in, you know, teaching students. Do you have a story or an experience that you would like to share that you feel really showcases that core of kind of value that you have of teaching people and making those concepts accessible?
Yeah, I think, you know, part of what I get to teach is legal entrepreneurship, which is something that I am well versed in and I have a lot of experience in. And sort of like one of the things that helps me, I think, connect is like I've done the thing that they're hoping to do, right? And so I have the credibility with them, and they are able to pay attention. So that makes my job a little bit easier because I'm like, look, I've been through this, I've done this, I failed at this, I tried this, this didn't work, this did. I wish I had done this, and so I think for me, probably like, you know, more than any one thing, it's the story that I'm able to tell, the experience and perspective that I'm able to bring, and really like the humility with it, because, you know, I had to learn all these things, a lot of them the hard way, and it's sort of like I try to talk to myself like 20 years ago, like what would I tell myself if I could go back in time, having experienced all that I can experience. And I feel the same way as a consultant. Like I look at this and I'm like, well, why are they hiring me? What value am I adding? And the truth is like if I'm doing my job right and my team's doing their job right, we are a massive shortcut. We're going to help take you through 5 years of pain and growth, and we're going to condense that into a period of months, right, from experience. And so it's really about being a guide and helping people get somewhere maybe they would have got to on their own, but in a harder, longer way. We're helping them take a shortcut by really educating them.
Yeah, you're that guide. You're expediting that path for them. That has to feel so rewarding, being able to help people along this road that would have been very tumultuous and long and probably very expensive. And so when you're able to kind of, you know, expedite that process, be the guide on that shortcut, that has to feel very rewarding to be able to offer that service to people.
It's incredibly rewarding because I really believe that the work of lawyers is incredibly valuable. I believe that the rule of law is increasingly important as our society faces more and more disruption through, you know, technology, just in general change that is disruptive. Law is sort of the baseline stabilizing force that, you know, provide safety and predictability and process that are in codification of ultimately values that I think are very important. But the practice of law is very difficult. It is hard to, look, the work that you do matters, right? And so you've got to get it right. And, if you don't, for some people out there, their clients can end up in jail, or their clients can end up homeless, or losing their children, or a host of things, or maybe they could lose their business. So the stakes are very high. And so my belief is, in order to do great legal work, you need to have a foundation that is a strong business, so that the business problems aren't sabotaging your production problems. You're not mired in messy books, or unpredictable revenues, or unpredictable cash flow, or unpredictable marketing channels that it's feast or famine, and those things can greatly impact your ability to do the work that really matters. So it's important to me, and I view that work as very important. I ultimately view it as, by helping lawyers, like I get to help many more clients than I ever could have as a lawyer, or even many more clients than I could have as a law firm CEO.
Yeah, the branching of that aid that you're able to give to multiple groups of people, and the work and practice that you do. That's incredible. How do you maintain, I know you had mentioned this, like relying on experience previously. Is that what allows you to be able to move through these very high stake cases and situations with sort of a level head because of that background and experience?
Yeah, I mean, it's I think a few things. One of which is the experience that I'm able to draw on, the significant education that I have invested in, whether it's through seminars or books or podcasts, or just time really learning from some people who are very, very smart at business.
Yeah.
It's also being able to bring outside eyes to things, which is like, look, I come into a firm and I'm not involved in the internal politics. I can just tell you what I see, which can sometimes be very helpful to provide some sort of mirror or outside perspective. And I think lastly, I get to spend a good amount of my time understanding what is out there, and understanding the markets, and understanding the solutions. So it's sort of like being able to bridge all of those things. Like, I feel like that's where me and my team get to add value to whoever it is that we work with.
Absolutely. That's incredible. I love that. I guess looking ahead, I would love to hear, what is your process like when you're kind of, someone has brought you on, you're beginning to just sort of see how everything works, the environment of the clients that you're working with. What does that beginning process look like with you and your team?
First of all, we're very selective in who we work with, because we're a small team. There's 5 of us, and there's 4 of us who actually do the consulting. We've all been at the firm together. We've all done this stuff. So we take on very limited engagements, and we only want to take on engagements with firms that we feel that we can actually help, that are aligned with what our goals are and their goals are, that we feel like we can add value to. So we're selective in who we work with and the work that we do. And then so once we get involved, it's usually a call to, sort of figure out if that's even possible. And then it's defining the scope of the work that we're going to be doing. And then for us, it starts a diligence process. And it's like, we have a basic questionnaire, but we're also going to want to look at financials. Sometimes we pre-interview team members. It really sort of depends upon the situation, but we're trying to gather the information that we need. And then there's usually some kickoff, and that could be a day or 2 days. It could be in person. It could be online. They could come to us. We could come to them. Again, there's some flexibility with all of that. And it's really getting to the core of what their opportunities are. It is defining where they want to go, It is setting up their values and then working backwards and building out steps like a punch list to help. Okay, we're going to do this, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do this,
Yeah.
and then we're going to build to this. And as we build this, these are some opportunities and problems that are going to arise. So it's really about ultimately leaving them with a roadmap and ultimately leaving them with support. So sometimes we'll help firms do hiring for people. We'll help firms vet vendors. We'll help firms develop marketing plans, work with their marketing people, help train their people. So there's a lot that we do that we feel is like very bespoke consulting. Like it's not like I've got some program that I'm going to put you through. It's really like meet you where you are, take you where you want to be.
Yeah, absolutely. The Jesuits have this idea of like cura personalis, or care of the whole person. And so
Yes.
it sounds like when you're meeting with your clients that you're being able to look at the environment that they exist in and also the problem that they're having from a very holistic lens. And it sounds like that is in part due to this very specialized team that you've cultivated. You mentioned a very small team that you're selective about your cases. What was the process of putting kind of that dream team together? Like, how are you able to work together? What are your strengths?
Yeah, so I mean, really and truly, I got to hire the best people from my former firm that I used to work with,
Wow.
and so ultimately I split up with my former business partner, and I was the CEO. I was running the business at the time. My wife Allison had filled various roles, mostly as chief operating officer throughout our existence. She also handled finance. Brittany Green was my marketing director, who I worked very closely with, and Marissa Rua was one of our top paralegals. And so it was those people that came with me, and Pam, who is my executive assistant, who helps us internally with our marketing at Best Era. We formed Best Era, and so I've worked with Allison for over 10 years. I've worked with
Wow.
Brittany for 6 years. I've worked with Marissa for I don't know, 3, 4 years. So we've all worked together for an extended period of time, and it was like, so okay, so if we're doing marketing consulting, Brittany's leading that. If we're doing operational consulting, Allison's leading that. We do paralegal training throughout the country for a product we call Para Era, and Marissa leads that. And so we bring our different backgrounds and skill sets, and the way I look at it is it's almost like it's like a fractional like C-suite of people that you're getting, because it's like we put ourselves in your shoes.
Absolutely. That's incredible. And then like we're having worked together, some of these people for over 2 decades, the chance to really rely on people and know, okay, like I know what I'm going to get here, and building that team. Is that there's this personal approach that I'm observing from the way that you interact with your clients, then also the team that you work with. How integral is it for you to really approach each situation so specifically, and treating each person as a fully fledged individual and looking at all of the overarching influences and impacts on a situation? What does that
Yeah,
look
I
like?
mean, really, I mean, it starts with us, and we built an operating system called The Way that we help law firms with, and it's a book. I mean, but it's a system of meetings and
Yeah.
goals and things. And one of the things that we do is we encourage them, and we practice what we preach, to set a 5-year destination, which is like, where do they want to go? And when we talk about growth and we talk about team size, so for us, in the next 5 years, like we're not going to grow beyond a team of 10. And what we're going to do is we're going to help 15,000 lawyers across the country or world, and we track that. We're going to crush that. But but we're a small team, and we want to make sure that when you're hiring us, you are getting white glove service, you are getting us, you're not being passed off, and it's a real clear definition of who we are, who we want to be, what our value proposition is, and really it makes it that much easier, because I'm not like, okay, well, I could come up with this program and then I could sell this and then we could put people in this and then we could do that. And maybe that could work, and it certainly probably could, but it's like, I'm not delivering the value that I want to be delivering at that point. I want to be in the delivery of what it is my team is doing, and so that's a space in which we operate.
Absolutely. And it sounds like because you were so specific about those that you choose, that these clients are like, I'm being chosen by you. You're not being kind of passed off. There's an intentionality that sits there.
Yeah, I mean, correct. I say to people like, look, here is the only, here is the team that you're going to be working with. It is me. You're not getting somebody else. Here's what we're going to do. And look, I mean, sometimes it means like, hey, we can get you into our rotation 3 months from now when we have an opening. But that's what that is for us. So it's just but I it's the same thing I challenge my owners with, or my law firms, which I'm like, your size and what you do is a choice, and you need to be intentional about your choice. And you could say, I want to be a firm that does $50 million in revenue. We have clients who want that. It's like, great, let's do that. Or you could be like, you know what, I want to be a 2 or 3 person firm, and I want to make $1.5 million, and I want to take 8 weeks off a year, and this is what I want to do. But where people, I think, get lost is they start dreaming the dreams of other people, or they never even think about it, and then they're just successful at what they do, and they wake up one day and they're like, oh my gosh, I have a team of 20 people, and I never intended this.
Yeah. You're helping people make informed decisions about the directions in which they are making these monumental business decisions, and also life decisions, therefore.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. I would love to hear a transformation story of what it was like walking in with a specific client, and how your team's direct intercession led to a transformation for that client.
Yeah, I mean, we're now almost 2 years into it, right? We have doubled the revenue of multiple firms, doubled, and I'm talking like significantly. These weren't firms that were making $10 and now are making $20, right? Adding millions of dollars to both the top and bottom line through strategic consulting, helping support in the things that we are able to put in place. Just one recent story that jumps to mind. We got hired because a firm was spending a lot of money on marketing and not getting the return. And their marketing budget was rather high. And I started looking at it and diving into why that is. And really, I was able to assess that the problem was a little bit the marketing. The problem also was their tracking of marketing and not having a CRM in place. The other problem was not having an intake team that was dedicated to doing a proper intake process. And also essentially wasting money, I think, in different ways on different spends. So the recommendation was to cut the spend, hire the intake people, keep doing what is doing. So we cut $40,000 a month from their spend, implement a basic CRM, start tracking, start running our intake process on it. And literally in a month, they doubled the amount of signed cases that they had.
You're kidding.
Okay, so they went from 20 signed cases to 40 signed cases. And it's a massive difference, right? But when they come to us and they're like, look, we're doing all this marketing, and I'm like, what's your cost per case? And I'm like, that's really about double what it needs to be. But it wasn't just like, let's jump into like, this is a marketing problem. Let's jump into what happens when they call you? What happens? Where are you tracking this? And it was like, okay, let's pause this spend until we get tracking in place, and like, let's just see what happens. Because if you decide that if your leads go way down, we can just turn this lever back on, right? It was like a TV spend that we could turn on. And those are the kinds of things that make a huge difference, because this firm's average case value is something like $25,000 a case, right? So you're looking at a lot of money, and
Yeah.
and again, when you're in it, it's hard to see. And when you're there, and we all have blind spots. I have them. I've relied upon coaching and consulting to help me spot those. But it's really being able to break through those barriers and make things better. And we also have the advantage of, like, we don't sell marketing. So, if you talk to sometimes an SEO vendor, their solution is spend more on SEO. You talk to a PPC manager, spend more on PPC. But we don't have that, and we're like, okay, let's look at this. You kept using the word holistically. That's the way we approach it.
That's incredible. That wonderful. So it sounds like you're getting a very specific, holistic, and transformative approach in the chance to work with you. I keep coming back to the word specificity because I really loved that word that you used, because it really does sound like you're treating each client as they are special, each case as it is special.
Well, it is, because I think it's optimal, and the word that we use internally is bespoke, and it's like it's really made for you. And part of it is like, I know what I wish I had as a law firm owner, and it was this. It's not just going to some more seminar or listening or reading some book. It's like, what should I do specifically in this situation? And how do I get here, and how do I navigate this opportunity or challenge?
That's incredible. Well, it looks like we're getting a little bit low on time here, but I would love to hear from you. Is there anything you'd like to plug or share with our listeners?
Yeah, I mean, go out there, shine your light in the world, be decent, seek to understand, seek to be curious, seek to inspire and learn, and give your gifts to the world, and live your life in a way that honors who you are. And I hope our paths cross. If they do, that's awesome. You can slide into my DMs on LinkedIn. That's a great way to find me. But really and truly, like, I think that we, all of us, when we live our lives as to who we were put here to be, and shine our lights, we do immeasurable good in a world that I think desperately needs it.
Absolutely. Spoken like a true teacher. And if our listeners would like to get in contact with you, you mentioned sliding into your LinkedIn DMs, but is there a website or an email?
Yep.
Or
bestera.com. bestera.com. You can do a form fill. I'm Ryan at bestera.com. Just say, you saw me on Aaron's podcast, and I will remember you and thank Aaron. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm available. And again, for us, everything starts the same. I'm not trying to sell you. I'm really trying to figure out if we are a fit for you, and you are a fit for us, based upon your needs and our abilities. So, you're not going to get put into some sales funnel. You're not going to get passed on to somebody who has some quota. You're going to get you're going to get me or Brittany or Allison or Marissa, who's like, our baseline is this a fit for both parties?
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. This episode is brought to you by the Duke Entertainment. If you want to create a podcast or build your personal brand, get in contact with us today. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of Partnerships for Profit. We hope you've gained valuable insights on how to form profitable partnerships and take your business to the next level. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Got a partnership story to share or someone you'd like to see featured on the show? Reach out to us. Until next time, keep building those partnerships for profit.